I am going to present a research and development program for the introduction of the Stevia REBAUDIANA plant as a substitute for the coca plant in a specific region of Colombia, which is the Catatumbo region. The Catatumbo region has suffered the consequences of the 50-year-old conflict between the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia, the FARC, and the Colombian government. This extremely long conflict generated rural poverty and led the peasants to develop illegal, productive activities such as the planting and processing of coca used as a raw material for the production of cocaine. When the mobilization process of the FARC took place, peace has been reestablished and rural population has been able to return to their original farmlands. The Catatumbo region has tropical humid weather and a considerable surface of fertile land with plenty of water. It's one of the regions in Colombia with greater potential for agriculture. The agro-industrial development of Stevia is a good alternative to coca due to its characteristics and potentialities in the national and international markets. The objectives of our research are, in the first place, to explore if the cultivation of stevia may be an effective alternative to replace illegal coca crops from the fields, and secondly, to design a research and development program that would provide knowledge and methodological support for the processes of stevia crop introduction. The following phases have to be considered for this program. In the first place, a study of agroclimatic conditions in the Catatumbo region. In the second place, the evaluation and introduction of cultivars. In the third place, the design and validation of the technological pattern of production, such as monoculture and polyculture. Fourthly, it will be the post-harvest handling, considering both artisanal and industrial processing. In the fifth place, it will be the exploration of medicinal, food, and industrial applications. In the sixth place, marketing and national and international trade. And lastly, the analysis of economic, social, environmental, and political aspects of the introduction of this agro-industrial supply chain in Catatumbo. Considering the study of agroclimatic conditions in Catatumbo, we can say that given the required conditions of humidity, annual rainfall, temperature, and altitude, it can be inferred that there are high probabilities for the adaptation of stevia in the Catatumbo region. The evaluation of cultivars should include agronomic and agro-industrial variables such as granulometry, dry matter, insoluble matter in alcohol, ashes, pH, among others, as well as the quantification of steviol glycosides. The evaluation should also include all the agronomic aspects, properties, and characteristics that may have an impact on the development of its supply chain and the consumption of intermediate and final products. In relation to the technological pattern of stevia production, it should be noted that there are references on the crop management in technical and scientific literature, but this knowledge must be adapted to the conditions of the Catatumbo region. The information has reported yields ranging from 3,500 to 4,000 kilograms per hectare of fresh and wet leaves, and from 1,000 to 1,200 kilograms per hectare of dry leaves under experimental conditions. In the case of stevia, the post-harvest includes at least the following tasks. It will be cleaning, drying of leaves, separation of the leaves from the stem, packing and storing. In terms of the dry leaf processing, some of the following processes and activities must be done: grinding, extraction, filtration, microfiltration, ultrafiltration, nanofiltration, evaporation and crystallization, drying, spraying, packing, and storage. The equipment for performing the operation processes mentioned here can be designed, manufactured easily due to its simplicity and rudimentary technology. Finally, it should be noted that this process can be done manually in small rural agro-industries, following business models similar to the production of coca paste, or in a large scale, but in this case, the process must be designed and validated on the basis of guarantees of sufficient and continuous supply of leaves. Stevia can be used as a raw material and as a complementary product in different industries, particularly in the pharmaceutical industry and in the food industry. The sweetener properties of the plant are ideal to meet the needs of consumers who must control the intake of sugars due to health problems linked to metabolic disorders. From the multiple studies that have been carried out since the 1970s on the effects of stevia in the human health, particularly in Japan, Brazil, and Denmark, it is inferred that stevia is a plant with different benefits. It's antiacid, it's an oral antibacterial, antidiabetic, cardiotonic, digestive, diuretic, a sweetener, hypoglycemic, hypotensive, and has other medicinal properties. Unrefined stevia can be used as a bactericide by inhibiting the growth of bacteria, especially those that produce tooth decay and gum problems, as well as to relieve the problems of sore throats and gum bleeding. It's also a powerful antibiotic against the fungi that causes vaginitis in women. It is necessary to define research lines related to the production of food and medicinal products containing stevia. Japan is one of the main markets for stevia and the country with more consumption, 220 tons of crystals per year, especially in the food industry. Currently, world production is about 3,000 tons of crystals per year. The biggest producer is in China, which sells 50% of its production in its domestic market, exports to Japan around 40% of its production, and the remaining 10% is sold to Korea, Indonesia, and the United States. Other regions with high potential for consumption are represented by the European Union and South America. In recent decades, transnational corporations such as Coca-Cola, Nestlé, among other brands, have substantially replaced sugar and chemical sweeteners in order to commercialize healthier products. Artificial sweeteners encompass 12% of the sweetener market. This information gives an idea of the size of the potential market that is open for stevia as a substitute for the rest of the sweeteners. In 2015, the products of accounted for approximately 2% of the global market for sweeteners. However, the consumption of the plant in the world grew 16% annually. The global market of sweeteners in 2015 was 70,000 million euros, out of which 60,000 correspond to sugar. Stevia only reached 200 million euros. At present, the international price of the powder stevia ranges from $80 to $90 US dollars per kilogram, which makes its development attractive as a basis for the local economy in Catatumbo. With the advent of the peace agreement in Colombia, a new process of land occupation and production must be developed for the fertile territories of the Colombian Catatumbo region, in which stevia can play a vital role. Therefore, it is necessary to develop a research process that will serve as the basis for facing the challenges and impacts of a new agricultural policy in the region. To conclude, the cultivation of stevia is an effective alternative to replace the illegal coca plantations. It can be adapted easily to humid tropical conditions, and because of its benefits on food and health, there is a great potential for development both in the national and international markets. The program presented in this study can serve as support for the introduction, establishment, and development of Stevia through a process of technological and institutional negotiation that would be followed by a specific plan of financing. Our recommendation is to create or designate an international body to promote and manage the implementation of this multidisciplinary program, as well as to foster the participation of researchers and national and international institutions. Thank you very much for your attention.